Yo, what's up? My name's RetroPat, and I recently became obsessed with Haste. Now, this game is still very new, but it's also very difficult. So difficult, in fact, that the developers have already released 2 patches nerfing most things around the game, including the total number of obstacles that spawn and decreasing the cost of things overall in the shops. Prior to these patch notes, I was personally stuck on early game shards for 3+ hours before being able to beat them, but I learned a lot in that process. So today I wanted to show you guys some quick tips for beginners in Haste so that you can learn from my mistakes instead of having to make them yourself. But let's go ahead and jump into things with tip number 1, which is going to sound really simple, but it's something I neglected for a while, and it's just to visit the in-game shop. When I first started playing, I was enjoying the mechanics so much that I didn't take the time to come explore the hub world. You can come talk to the captain type NPC over here, go ahead and interact with him, and he'll give you options for improvements to improve all of your stats, your max health, your max lives, which are really important for that early game survivability. And then later on, buffing your starting sparks, your total sparks you can see in fragments, and your item rarity can be nice as well. But I strongly suggest starting with max health and max lives upgrades as you learn. But that's just the upgrades shop. You can also go talk to each individual character that you have here and get individual different items from them, like the Sage's Cowl from this first shop from this old lady. Now, you get the Courier's Board by default, and you can buy the other 3 items. They just have different effects. The board, as you play the game, you probably find out that if you hold left click, it makes you go a little bit faster and speeds up and kind of softens your landings as well. The Sage's Cowl, the item from the grandmother, allows you to sort of left click and get a nice big boost up into the air. It's a pretty significant lift up into the air as opposed to the Courier Board's very, very slight lift. Whenever these characters have an orange question mark over their head, they usually have a part of the storyline or quest to continue. So if you talk to them, you can get that taken care of and then re-talk to them when they have the bold exclamation mark to visit their shops or engage with them for that need. The main shop you should be focused on is definitely the captain. Now, tip number 2 is going to be about perfect landings. These are very difficult to achieve at first, but become extremely intuitive. I want to give you one quick tip to help you work on your perfect landings. Importantly, perfect landings increase your speed and your total energy. An easy thing to look for when you're trying to work on your perfect landings is look for the backside of hill slopes. You can see all throughout the world, there's all these different little hill slopes all around the place. If you try to aim for the back side of them, you roll down, you carry the momentum, and it helps you get a lot of perfect landings. Now, once you start getting better and better, you can also kind of land on the side or the up ramp a little bit and work kind of like that and get perfect landings as well. It really becomes an intuitive thing once you start practicing. So it really just takes time. But as you're still learning, I strongly recommend using the backside of slopes like this and just kind of bouncing. You can even go back and forth off of them. Also, aiming your camera where you may need it to go. Super, super, super important. Don't be afraid to get low on your camera angle like this. But the back of the hill stuff really is such a cheat code early on. Also, just popping out your board sometimes is enough to turn a good landing into a perfect landing. Just having that pop out right at the end softens a lot of landings. Now, tip number 3 is that time spent running usually equates to more speed. It depends on the map, obviously, but usually getting air is actually going to slow your run down. Now, getting air can be nice for survivability, however, so there are positives and negatives, especially on the Dark Core maps that have a lot more difficult and more obstacles overall. But if you're trying to speed through the maps or get good ranks, I strongly recommend staying close to the ground and constantly spamming that spacebar to catch those backside of the slopes while staying on the ground to increase maximum speed. This is obviously going to be very, very difficult at first, and it's just going to take a lot of practice. The more you play Haste, the better you will get, and it should really, really show alongside your playtime. Now, tip number 4 is to not always make things so fancy. When you try to do that, you'll often end up smacking the terrain or just going off the walls. Sometimes it's better to just avoid obstacles, over-the-top fancy ones, like these giant carousels with the little circles in the middle. Yes, they do increase your speed, but always trying to go for them and always trying to hit them is going to cause you a lot more damage, especially when you're newer and learning and you're not used to being able to find the angle to always hit them. If you want to limit test and try and make it more difficult for yourself to go for it, more power to you. I have a lot of respect for that, but usually just playing it safe and taking a less flashy, more ideal path to victory is ideal when you're trying to complete a level. Now, if you're replaying a level, trying to earn some anti-sparks or just for improvement, feel free to take every close call, every risky path you possibly could. Because that's what this game is all about at the end of the day, is limit testing and getting better at those physical mechanics. but I just strongly recommend waiting until you're actually completed the shard for the first time before you start playing like this. And then for tip number 5, really simple. I strongly recommend just avoiding the Dark Void maps until you feel comfortable. These are these maps with these spikes sticking out of the circle on the map itself. And when you load into them, they look a lot different. They have a different terrain than the actual maps you're normally playing. They are significantly harder. These maps do give you an item reward upon completion, so the reward is pretty nice, but honestly, with how much they've nerfed or slash buffed the ability for you to get more sparks, you're getting more sparks per run than ever. The free item just honestly isn't worth. If this takes off a life off of your run, unless you feel really comfortable, and once again, if you get better at the game, I'm sure that these maps are fantastic. The value of getting a free item for completing them while still being able to earn sparks, the value is there, but the difficulty is also there if you're a newer player. I just really don't recommend it. Sometimes the layouts of these maps are super brutal. They've gotten a lot better post nerf. Prior to the nerf, there was way more obstacles, and it was just felt impossible to dodge everything sometimes. But if you're new, I recommend just avoiding these for the time being until you get more comfortable. If you want to, play through maps and practice them, you should. You should go practice these maps on shards you've already completed. That's another benefit. There's so many reasons to play shards you've already completed in this game, even though, you can always make more progress, continue the main storyline and play the future shards, but there's so much value to going back, grinding for anti-sparks, grinding for just the practice. Practicing this game is super important. At the end of the day, I can give you these tips. I can tell you the little things to remember during your gameplay, but you have to practice. You got to play. You got to put in the hours. This game is just a mechanical sink. It's going to be a way for people to show off their skills, show off their stuff, and I'm so excited. I've been watching speedruns. I'm so excited to see what this game becomes because it is so fucking good. I am in love with this game. I am obsessed with Haste, and I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as I do. I hope this little guide was helpful. Like it if it was. That means the world to me and helps out small channels like myself tremendously. Subscribe if you want to see more Haste content or more guides or just other random various games that I am passionate about. You will always see me playing games that I love on this channel. That is a promise. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Enjoy Haste. Peace, Reno. Hey, what's up? Retro Pat here, and I want to say a quick big thank you to everybody whose name is listed here because it means you went above and beyond and supported me via the Patreon, which allows me to put more time, effort, and resources into this channel. Thank you so much, and have a great day.